Hi, this is Bob Larson, author of Arranging for the Small Jazz Ensemble. On this video, we're going to be talking about four-way close voicings and learning about chord tone substitutions. This is part of part 3, where we talk about jazz harmony and voicings, and this section is divided into 4 different chapters. Tertian harmony, which is what we're talking about today, chordal harmony, slash chords, and non-harmonic tones. Okay, the chapter begins with a discussion of tertian harmony, chords built in thirds, and there's a description of open and closed voicings, and we're talking about close voicings that are within an octave. And with four-way, that means there's 4 different notes within that octave. And then there's a substitution chart that we'll be referring to as we go through the first assignment, assignment 6.1. And summarized briefly here, the root of a chord can be replaced by the 9th, the 3rd by the 4th, the 5th can be replaced by the 13th or the 11th, and the 7th can be replaced by the 6th. And this is summarized in this chart. A more specific list is given here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at assignment 6.1, where you're asked to do the following in the staves provided in the next 2 pages. Notate the chords with 4-way close voicings. The top note is given, and you must add the lower 3 tones. In order to be able to do that, of course, we need to understand that chord inversions are simply a way to rearrange the 4 notes. Notice that this C is brought up an octave here, the E to the top of the chord here, and the G here. It's also summarized in this chart. So we'll have to do that because as you look at the assignment here, this is a PDF version of the each of the assignments in 6.1. These actually are in landscape in your book. A little easier to see them here. You can see that the top note is given, so we're going to have to notate the chord tones below each of these chord tones that are provided. I've extracted a few of them that we can do together, and I'm going to, while we do this, go ahead and have this chart in front of us from page 78. Here's the one that's provided, D minor 7th. The 5th is given to you, so below the 5th would come the 3rd. Below the 3rd comes the root, and in this case the root has been substituted with the 9th, as is suggested here with minor 7th chords. You can use the 9th instead of the root, and then the 7th below the 9th. Let's go ahead and look at the C7, and here the 9th is provided. So that substitution's been given for us already. The 9 has been substituted for the root. So below the root, or the 9th, would come the 7th, and that is the B flat. Go ahead and move that over. And below the 7th would come the 5th. And remember, I'm getting that information from this inversion chart here. So below the 7th would come the 5th. I'm going to look at my chart, and it says dominant 7th. Oh, I could use the 13th or a flat 13. Instead of the 5th, I'm going to go ahead and use a 13. Using layers here. And that's an A. I could have used a 5th, but I wanted to use, or even a flat 13th, but I used a 13th. The symbol didn't tell me to do it, but I know that I can't just play a straight C7, root 3rd, 5th, 7th. I need to make it sound like a jazz chord. And then finally, below the 13th, which is subbing for the 5th, I would place the 3rd, which is E. Okay, so here's the chord. Sounds like a jazz chord. If I used the 5th instead of the 13th, which would be a G instead of the A, sounds like that. So this is a little hipper. Go ahead and do one more. G major 7th, the 7th is provided. So below the 7th would be the 5th. Now I could use a substitution. I'm not going to in this case. So there's my next note down. Below the 5th comes the 3rd, which is B. Below the 3rd comes the root. Well, I'm going to go ahead and use a 9th, as my chart tells me I can, instead of the root. So that's an A. Very pretty chord. Okay, so that's how you'll go through this assignment, 6.1, and we'll tackle some other parts of the chapter in some more videos in the future. Thanks a lot.